I read the most random book and it was 5 stars. Let's do it. Oh, what a day. Hello, we're back again with another video. I don't know why I keep dancing. Kind of fun, kind of fresh. So today's video, we're going to talk about this literal random book I came across in a charity shop. I have mentioned it before. I picked it up based on the cover and let me tell you, it was a wild ride. Oh, Daily Plane. It's a tradition by now. I don't know how I managed to coincide with filming and the plane. I don't know at this point. I give up. As I will show you the cover on the screen, it was basically everything I like. It was blue and green is my favorite color. It had lots of wine glasses and bottles on it, which isn't particularly my favorite thing, but it was really cool. I'd never seen anything like it. And as we know, I don't like people on the cover. There was not a person in sight, so it ticked all the boxes. So this book is The Irresistible Inheritance of Wilberforce by Paul Torday. I'd never heard of this book, and I actually had never heard of the author, although he does have another book which I think I would also like to read. I picked it up, I thought this looks good for me. I may or may not have checked Goodreads just to see if it was at least a 3 stars, and it had decent reviews. It wasn't the best review ever, but when I read it, I loved it. So I actually took a while to read this book because I read it at weird times. I did have a 2-week gap in between reading it, but when I was reading the book, I was continuously flicking the page. It was definitely a page turner. So I actually gave this book 9.5 out of 10. For me, that would be a 5-star. Obviously, from kind of how the book sounds, it wasn't a spicy book. It was a 0 on the spiceometer. Now, let's talk about the reason I didn't give it a perfect 10. So number 1, I would recommend this book for sure, but I would say that perhaps it's catered a little bit more towards people who read a lot, because it's very different to your usual story, your usual pattern of how you follow a story. I feel like it would take a little bit of getting used to the style. That's not to say that maybe you want to get into reading, and this could be a good book because it's completely different from anything else. Definitely give it a go if you feel like you're up for something new, but just be warned that it is very much different to lots of books. Probably, I don't think I've read anything like this book ever. I would say it's pretty unique. So when I finish a book, I write my score, my stars, my spiceometer, would I recommend, and then I write a little review. And sometimes when I finish a book, I'm not in the headspace to write a review instantly, and sometimes I am. So the first thing I wrote about this book was, I think it's a 5-star, but I'll get back to you tomorrow. Because in my head, I was like, wow, yes, this is great, I love it. But I wasn't sure if there were some things I still needed to think on the next day. Next day comes, I decide it's still a 5-star. However, I give it a 9.5 out of 10 because of these reasons. One being, as we just mentioned, about who I would recommend it to. If I feel like I can't recommend a book to everyone, it sometimes takes away from the book a little bit for me, because it's an amazing book, but I feel like it's catered to certain audiences, which is fair enough, but I don't know, I feel like I like the concept of it being for everyone. Now, the second reason, the reason I dropped the majority of the marks, I mean, I say the majority of the marks, it was only 0.5, but there was a few questions I still had at the end of the book. Now, they did have a forum situation that you could kind of go and investigate. I did a little bit of digging around. I just sometimes feel like it's nice to have everything put together at the end of the book. So I felt that we've got another plane. So I feel like the book could have easily been a 10, but I definitely took away a little bit of the marks due to the fact that there were still some questions at the end. One of the things I loved about this book is that the main character, Wilberforce, isn't very likable at all, and I feel like it wasn't in a way where you didn't like them because it was cringy or they were annoying. He was just not a very likable person, and I feel like that made the book clever and almost more unique and just better in a whole different way. I really liked the descriptions in this book. I liked the way that the author wrote, and also I loved the structure. So the structure was actually back to front, so we started in the present day, well, in 2006, I think. Don't quote me on it. And then we went back in time, a year at a time, and you basically see the development of the characters, but back to front. And I think that was really cool, really unique and interesting. I hadn't read something like that before, so I would definitely recommend this book, as I have said 500 times, if you want something completely different. I just feel like on the whole this book was quite cool, and I feel like it's one of those books that I'll definitely keep for a long time and kind of always have on my shelf, and I feel like that's a really nice thought to have about a book. Let me read you the blurb. Meet Wilberforce. He's a man so devoted to his work that he can barely remember a time when he cared for anything else. But one summer evening, he finds himself exploring a strange road, a road which leads him to a world he could never have imagined, rich in the promise of friendship and adventure, where the possibility of falling in love seems finally to be within reach. Wilberforce's life now centers around the ramshackle, now I don't know how to pronounce this, but I think it's Caerleon or Caerleon Hall, and a bewitching group of friends. As his horizons broaden and his heart expands, Wilberforce nurtures a newfound passion for fine wine. But he will discover that Caerleon, please help, holds some unpalatable secrets, and that passion comes at a price. Even the finest wine can leave a bitter aftertaste. No, see, that's just a bit random. Imagine you're me, you've walked into a Sue Rider, I think it was, you're having a look around, you find this book cover you like, you turn it over, you think, what on earth is this about? And let me tell you for free, I was very much confused, but very much intrigued. And I'm glad that I took the risk. I picked this book up. I think I honestly paid about £1.50 for it, which is insane. Support charity shops, you know, we love a little second-hand recycle moment. I love a charity shop book. I found some great books in there. When I return to England, I'll do a little all the cool books I found in the charity shop, because there has been some great ones. So basically, the gist of this video is sometimes you have to go in the deep end and go for those books that you're not sure if you're gonna like. And it's a gamble. Sometimes you might not like it, but sometimes it might end up being, like this one, a 5-star read. If this book sounds interesting to you, give it a read. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now, I didn't want to go too much into the plot and spoil it, but if you're interested, I could definitely do a let's talk about with this book, and we can go a bit more in depth, talk about the characters, talk about the plot. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. Well, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow in the next one, obviously. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. My comment section's always open, so if you have any questions about books or any suggestions, pop them down there. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!